Okay folks, good morning. This is another review game of one of my students. This is Sam's game that he played recently against the Amybot, the 25Q bot. Sam again is a relative newcomer to Go. And I just want to go through this because it might be useful to lots of other players. So I'm calling this one Cutting Points, Connections and the Direction of Attack. And that's going to be the flow of the discussion. That's where I want to focus on in this one. Because it was an interesting game. It was a very a beginner's game, and that's not diminishing it, because one of the brilliant things about Go, one of the joys of Go, is that Go plays at the level that you do, and as your skill develops, then the game deepens. As your experience widens, the game widens. It always opens up to match you. So we're just going to go quickly through this game and see what happened when Sam played the Amybot beginner. So Amybot is black and Sam is white, and so Amybot starts top left hand corner, perfectly normal. Lower right corner, perfect opening move, very happy with that. Black takes another corner and white takes the fourth corner. That's just great, and I think if you've looked at any other videos, what we say in the opening is actually corners golden, sides silver, belly straw, and that's because of where the points lie on a Go board. So I'm just reiterating that for you guys now. What's the next move? So black makes an inside approach. Black approaches inside white's area here, and so I would expect to see white make a base here or maybe here. And when we talk about making a base, we're actually giving our stones a solid foundation. So when we're under attack, what we need to do is make a base. And as I mentioned the other day, if you've ever done any kind of martial arts, any judo, aikido, karate, those kind of things, before you attack or defense, you actually widen your stance slightly and make a base. And so in this case, white is making a base around here to stabilize those stones because of black's attack. And actually, if black doesn't respond around J3, then white would use that as a perfect route for attack. So let's see. So here, white plays out. Now, this stone, I can't criticize it as completely wrong, but in the opening, it's what we call a bit of a floating stone. It's quite far out from the edge. It's on line 1, 2, 3. It's on the fourth line out, and it's floating up towards the center. It's not really connected very well to this one at the moment, and it's certainly not connected to that one because there's this black stone in between. So it's a bit of a floating stone. As I said, I would have expected after this approach to see white play somewhere in this kind of area. Or possibly the other viable move for white, but I don't want to overcomplicate this, is the pincer. So let's just talk about making a base for now. So not a great move, suddenly switching track and creating another stone there. So black solidifies the top. Now this 3 stones in a row is called the Sanrensei. It's 3 star points, and it's a pretty solid foundation. It's black saying, I really like the top side of the board. I'm really interested in the top side of the board. And so now white plays, and white's next move is here, which is perfectly fine. It's an approach move. It's a little bit far away from that corner, but it's white approaching the stone on D16, this stone here, and actually developing along the left side. And black responds to that by coming in and doing what we call a double approach. This stone here on the 4-4, because it was left vulnerable, because it was left on its own, black is able to make the double approach, and this stone, when you played it, didn't really give any protection to the stone on the D4 point. If we go back, if this stone had been somewhere like here, then we would have expected to see a black approach in that kind of area. So I take that one out, just switch stones. So if white had approached here, we'd see a black approach here, but then white has got a pincer, this kind of move. This all flows back. I'm just going to go back to the game. So there we are. This all flows back to this basic principle of Go. The highest level strategy in Go is to keep your own stones connected and to separate your opponent's stones. And why is that? Well, connected stones are strong. If one part of your group has got two eyes and therefore is unkillable, so long as you're connected to those two eyes through a chain of stones, you're also alive. So connected groups are strong. Small groups tend to be weaker because they're isolated, and therefore they have to create their own independent local life, and this takes effort and stones and time to do. So connected is great and separation is bad, and so generally in Go that's what we're trying to do, is separate our opponent's stones to make them weak and vulnerable to attack and keep our own stones connected. So white plays here, which is a solid move in the corner, but given the presence of these two, is what we call a little bit slow. I would have expected to see white come out, and notice in coming out white is driving a wedge between these two stones and therefore acting on that high level strategy, separating your opponent into two weak groups. And now this stone is kind of saying to black, do you like this one? Do you like the one on c6, or do you like the one on f3? Because if black tries to make a base for one of these stones, then white is going to start an attack on the other one, and vice versa. That's what's going on there, and that's what I would have expected to see. So your moves here, Sam, was a bit solid in the corner, and black takes that vital point. Black takes the vital point at e5, and so now all of black's stones are connected on the outside. So all of these three guys have got a relationship, and you've got what we call a heavy group. It's a lump of stones that has got liberties but not much shape. And that's how this attack proceeds. So let's keep going. So you try and wedge out, black blocks, you cut, black ataris, you run, black follows. This involves a ladder shape. You know, the other day I talked about ladder shape. This is the ladder shape. And we then have to read and see which direction this ladder goes. And actually it goes to there. Black has got a ladder breaker right in the way of that. And the white stone here doesn't impact on that ladder at all. So that ladder is favourable for black. If black triggers that ladder, white's in trouble. So white turns to avoid that ladder, and black turns, comes out. And now we get this first move. This move is a reading move. And actually one of the skills that we develop as we practice Go is we develop our ability to read the board with stones in place before we actually place them. So in this situation, if white plays there, then black plays here, and this is known as a net. This shape here is a geta, or a net. So that stone, like a little fish, is caught in a net. Why is it caught in a net when it's hit on the corner like that? Because look, white push, black block, white push, black kill, and there is no alternative scenario. That's it. It's a net, and you can have one stone nets and we can have two stone nets. So actually this move here, Sam, just didn't work, and actually it missed the direction of play, and the direction of play is white has got to get some shape in this corner to try and make some eye shape, and somewhere like here would start to build eye shape in that corner. Because white is now, as you can see, white's cut into two groups, this group and this group, and they're cut on this diagonal here between these two stones. And yes, of course, black is also cut into two groups, but here black has got space to develop here and space to develop here. It's got the outside, as we call it. Okay, let's get back to the game. So this move wasn't a good move, as you can see, and black ataris, you run away. Again, we've got another, black could choose to play here, and this would simply drive white into another ladder, which black does. White ataris, black kills. White comes down. This stone here it's cut on the second line, so when black ataris it on the second line, it is dead. It has nowhere to go and can't escape. And this shape here, this risk, when we've got a stone here and our opponent is sitting here on it, then the next stone will kill it. So when black plays here at e2, that stone dies, and there's nothing white can do about it. The only thing white can do is to move away. So black does that. White counter ataris, and black takes. So now white is barely alive in the corner but can live in that corner with a move. This move is too close to the edge. The move that would let white live is something like this. Because notice if black attempts this, white immediately ataris, black defends, and then white has got two eyes in that kind of sequence. Generally we don't play on line 1 until it's absolutely necessary, or we're making a monkey jump, but more of that later. Okay, back to the game. So not a great move there. Black connects. This is an Amybot, so I'm not going to criticize. I'm not going to comment on black's moves because we know this is a 25 Kyu Amybot. We're trying to improve the moves of the student here. White pushes out, great move, making shape, making some eye space, widening that base for those stones. Black blocks, and now a shape move is needed inside. When we play this, again, this is a line 1 move. When we count, this is line 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. We always count from the outside. So that would be line 1, 2, 3, 4 when we're dealing about the left side. This would be line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4 when we're talking about the lower side. That's the way we reference moves in Go. When we play a stone like this, we're expecting our opponent to do this. And then we have to fix our shape, and then our opponent has to fix its shape. Notice if black doesn't fix, white would simply cut an atari. If black played away, let's say black played here, then white would just cut an atari, and this stone runs, and it runs to nowhere. Eventually this would hit the edge of the board and all the black stones would die. So that's why we play this defensive. So white defends and then black defends, and white now has a center. So let's just review the game. White has got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 points in the lower left hand corner. It's got some potential here on the right, and it's got a weak and vulnerable stone up on the left hand side. So I would expect to see white play somewhere like here, or possibly here to limit the potential of this group, limit the potential of this wall, or something in this area to make a base and give some support to that stone. Those would be my 3 biggest moves at this point. So white plays what we call it's a slack move. It doesn't need to be played. White's already alive. I know sometimes we all get very paranoid in our games. We see things as dying when they're not, but that gives black the sente. Black plays here, which threatens to double atari at c2, which would be bad, and so white makes a tiger mouth. Very important shape here, this tiger mouth. And it occurs a lot, and it protects as well, if sometimes better than a solid shape. So black comes out, and now you can see that black has exchanged. White's got now 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, barely 10 points in the corner, and black has easily got 20 points here. So this is a good move by black. And then white moves to defend that stone on the left, but it's a contact play, and I think somewhere else in another video I've talked a little bit about contact plays. White's in contact, black comes down, white comes down, black harness, white harness, black fixes, and now I would really like to see a base coming for this group. So this group is then unconditionally alive. It's got 2 eyes, it can't be killed. What happens? No, that works. That's squashing white down, but your black is happy to move along the 3rd line. And then there's this cut inside. I would have expected this kind of connection. And notice all the times I'm talking about connecting stones. So when white plays here, that's another stone that's gone into free fall. It's now behind black's wall. This is black's wall here. And this stone is now cut off and separated from these stones. So we do this deliberately in Go. We do play stones like this to either disrupt our opponent's shape or do something else. But generally, in the opening, we're trying to stake out our territories. So, and black ataris, so white connects, and black plays here. And this was almost great, Sam. This was almost great. You just missed this by 1 move. So you harned on this side, which was actually saying to black, I give up that stone, and black descends. and then you Atari this side, and again I would have expected black to respond here and take that stone, but black connected there. And now here's your chance. You extend once with this stone. What does black do? Black follows you, and now this is your killing move. What happens if white plays here? Black's in Atari. If black plays here, white kills here. If black takes here, you Atari, black connects, and you kill. All of that was in your hands, all of that was there, and that just involved a little bit of reading. So at this point, after black played, all of that was possible. When you read the next move, and I'm just hovering it over the board there, the move at B17, your white group on the inside along the 17 row has got 2 liberties, one at B18, one at A17, but black has only got one at A17, which means black's going to die. Black has no choice. When you've got more liberties than your opponent and you're in a fight, your opponent will die. But you switched your attack this direction, and then black took your stones, and now these 2 stones are cut off and isolated, and black now is super strong. It's got eyes a go-go. All of this is connected and solid, and actually very nicely connected out through the Sanrense. So that was just a miss. It was missing a vital point. Okay, let's get back to the game. So, slightly annoyed, you attach on this side, and again, I'd like you to go back and look at the video about contact plays, about why contact plays are not always good for us. We're used to fighting in normal, we watch movies, we do all that. If you fight somebody, people hit each other and they grapple with each other. In Go, we're a bit more circumspect. We have to contact sometimes, but remember, when we contact our opponent's stones, we make them stronger. So now, black's now got 2 stones with 3 liberties each, and you've got 1 stone with a liberty. It's got to run. It's got to do something. So you cross-cut, which I thought was quite a good move. And let's see what happens here. Black Ataris, you extend. Black Ataris, and you extend. This is an example of missing the direction of play. So you could extend here, and then black comes with that this way, and then you give up those stones. And actually what you do here is you Atari here, and black comes down, and you Atari here, and black has to take, because black's 2 stones are in Atari. And then you make a shape. So you've given up the stones that were here in order to make a good shape with these stones that work with these stones. So you're looking at the direction of play, you're looking at the direction of attack. Yes, you've sacrificed, but you've got something worth having out of that sacrifice and exchange. In the game, and this is why we talk about the direction of attack, is after this move, black comes here, and then you Hane on the edge. This doesn't help because black simply puts your 2 stones into Atari, and when you connect, it still doesn't help because black simply comes down and you're in Atari again, and you come out, but it's black's move again. So all the time, after each move you're in Atari, you get 1 move, you get 1 more liberty, and black Ataris you again. You cut, black connects, white pushes out, black Hanes. Notice that black can kill these at any point. And so black's not doing so, because until black needs to kill them, why would you? It's a waste of a move. You cut inside, black simply extends. Why? Because these guys have only got 1 liberty. These guys have got 2. And now that stone's in trouble too. You Hane. Black Ataris. You cut on that side. Black Ataris. These black stones here are not in any danger at all because of they will die before black dies. Black has got 2 liberties here. 1, 2. This group's got 1. You Atari. Black takes and now has got 2 liberties. You Atari again. This is not reading, because I'm sure you can see now with beautiful hindsight after the game's over that you've just put yourself in Atari and Black takes you off. So now the whole top right corner is Black's. And again, you switch direction of attack. You've kind of gone, that's okay, I can cope with that. I've lost that, it's time to move on. And that's very standard in Go. Very standard in Go. Black comes out, so Black's actually using your attack to build this territory here, and hopefully you could do something to develop this territory. But you can see now how the direction of attack here was wrong, going for the inside rather than for the outside. The outside would have built this other wall for white. You Hane, Black Hanes, and then you have to you Hane again, and then Black comes out and you connect, and then Black comes down, and notice this cutting point here. Black can kill there at any point. As soon as Black cuts there, the Black stone will have 2 liberties, White will have 1, White's going to die. It's this move, it's the dangerous one. So actually when we play this kind of move, I would expect to see either a solid connection here to protect the points in the corner, or sometimes a tiger mouth like this to do the same job, but this leaves a vulnerability here for later for Black. But this jumping down onto the lower line simply creates a stone that we've then got to fix. You cut, but the cut doesn't work because of this problem here. Black Ataris, you come out, Black turns, and now this is a ladder attack again. You turn, Black turns, you come out, Black comes out, you cut, and this works now because Black's in Atari. Black Ataris, and you Atari, and you take the stones there. I actually prefer this one. I think this is slightly better shape because Black is still an Atari and Black can do nothing, but it means that we get this shape on the edge. What happened in the game was that you took this one, Black came out, and then this was simply a slack move. You connected there and you didn't need to connect there. The better move is here. Okay, what if Black does this? Black does that, you simply connect. Or if Black does that, you just ignore and you take this point, and if Black takes this, you just connect there and Atari that stone. These are moves, when we play moves that we don't need to, we give our opponent a free ride every time. So this stone here, this was super slack, just didn't need to be played. And of course now Black comes out, and what's happening now is Black is driving this wedge down here in this direction, aimed at separating the corner from the side. So Black comes down. This was the move that should have been played 2 stones earlier. It's in the right direction. Black harness, you cut. Cut again is, I can't say it's wrong in this case, but I think that the move for White is simply draw back to protect those points in the corner, and then Black has to deal with this cutting point, which would give you a sente or something else on the board. So what happened in the game is you cut on the outside, Black Atari'd, then you drew back, Black pushed, you block with the tiger mouth. Notice it here, very nicely done. Black protects the cutting point, and again this is about direction of attack. You play here, which creates 2 further weak stones, not very well connected, because Black, I would expect, would immediately Atari this one here, and if that one runs, then Black jumps on that one and kills that one in that kind of sequence. That's what I would expect to see here against a player. So what was the bad move here? The bad move was that. The solid move is this one. And then that starts to build a relationship, a connected relationship through the knight move with these stones, and it actually starts to reach out to these, which aren't yet knocked out of the frame. They're still there. So if we go back to the game, this is where White actually played, and of course Black cut. White runs away, Black follows, White runs away, black Ataris, white turns, black turns, white turns, black pushes, and now white can kill these stones. Again, direction of attack. So the ideal move here would be for not to play white to play here, because what does that give? Black has the opportunity to come out. The killer move is simply this one, which kills them outright. So there's no further movement for black. And this is what we mean by direction of attack. Don't push our opponents in ways that they can get out. The other alternative for white here is simply this one, because black here, white here. There's nothing else going on there. Okay, so let's go back to the game. Here we are. So in this case, white turn, but that gives black this little maneuver. White blocks, and then black turns, and white gets an Atari. You can see why this is important, that we choose the direction of attack that doesn't let our opponent attack us back. White Atari's here. Black takes. This is not a good move by black because it creates a weakness that Sam then exploits. This is a very nice move because notice that this move here, Atari's on the diagonal, across that diagonal all of those stones. Black Atari's, white descends, black takes that one, and white kills. Which kills not only that group, but hopefully kills all of these guys as well, because they've got no way out. They can only make one eye there on the edge, and white's super strong. It's a great point in the game. So Sam, you've kind of fought your way back through this. Black connects, and then we have to take, at these points, when there's a lull in the fighting, we have these very intense moments of go when the stones are grappling and fighting each other, and then we get a pause in the fighting. And when we've got a pause, we have to step back and go, okay, what's going on in this game? So in this game, for white, white's got some points here in this corner. White's now got quite a good group of points in this corner, but black has got pretty much everything around here, because all of the white stones in that corner are dead. So black's ahead on points. So the vital area of the game now is what happens here in the center. Where is white strong? White is strong over on this group here. So this has got to be the jumping off point for the attack. This group here is a bit weak, and white's pushing out into that area here. But if white pushes out in this direction, in this kind of direction, what's going to happen is black's going to be able to solidify this area and this area as white pushes through, and that helps black. So white comes out in that area, and black makes sure that these stones remain cut off. White pushes out, black connects, white comes out and connects them. Black pushes inside, white blocks, black blocks, and white makes a great shape. Now this shape is potentially linking all of white stones together. Black comes out, and so black is starting to make this kind of development here to enclose this area of the board. White comes out, black makes a shape, white pushes out, black harness, and again notice that although white is getting a few points in here, that kind of area, compared to what black is getting on the outside, and every move by black here starts to really impact on these stones here, that this is much better for black. So the direction of attack, the direction of attack in this game has gone wrong. Let's just go back, that was a bit quick. So white cuts, and cutting actually creates another weak stone that black Ataris. White comes down. We've got another ladder here. Black reads that ladder, I think, and says that's a good ladder for white, I think. So black connects on that side. White Ataris, black connects, and white plays here. Just for knowing, this one works nicely too, because we get the double tiger mouth. That tiger mouth there, and this tiger mouth here that connects all of white stones together. and make sure that these stones here stay in the game. So go back, because with this connection move there's still a cutting point for black there. Black comes down, white attaches outside, and again I have to say white's just created yet another weak stone. It's another stone on its own inside black's shape, which black immediately ataris, and white runs, and black catches it again, or tries to catch it in a ladder, and here's the ladder breaker. White harnesses, black cuts. So again, you see how white is immediately cut into two groups, and the death of one of those groups will unify all of the black stones. White turns, black ataris, white descends, black descends, white harnesses, black kills, which means that everything here is now connected all the way out to there. And this white stone is looking a bit sad and lost. White ataris, black ataris. Why does black atari? Well, black's actually quite happy to give up this stone in order to kill these stones, because this stone, the black stone there, just isn't an important stone. It's not doing any useful work at the moment. So white comes out, black decides to come out, white turns, black turns ataring the 3, white runs out, black ataris again, and this does involve a ladder. Black turns, white turns, black turns, white turns, black hane, white connect, black atari, black comes out, white comes out, black connects. The problem now for white is this group, and actually its buddies on this side, because black is very strong here, black strong here, and black is strong and alive here. And so this white group has either got to make 2 eyes locally or break out and connect to a living shape. Let's see what happens. White, seeing the dilemma, Hane's there, black makes a tiger mouth, white comes up, black comes up, white again cuts on the outside, and again this is missing the direction of play. This has just simply created yet another solitary weak stone that black can immediately deal with. I mean, black would just simply deal with that like that, and it's got nowhere to go. It's netted. Look, white, black, white, black, white, black. There's nowhere for that white stone to go, and so constantly throwing these white stones out against a black wall just creates these problems. Black comes inside, ataring the 2, white connects, black turns, white descends, and that's the killer atari. Black, white, black, and I believe that's the resign. So that was the game. I think you're quite right to resign at that point, because let's look at what's going on the board. These are all dead. These are dead. These are most likely dead, and the death of all these has really compromised this shape here, that's not barely alive at this point. So it's quite right. But the essential bits about this game, the takeaways for all of you players, and particularly for Sam, is actually be aware of your cutting points. Be aware that you're creating situations that your opponent can through. Make sure your stones are connected, and I'll put something up about solidly connecting stones either through Kosumi, Tiger Mouth, one space jumps, bamboo joints, how we connect our stones, and the direction of attack. Don't attack our opponent in ways that compromise us, that push them to our own weaknesses. If you've got choice in Atari, go, which side do I want to be strong? Which side do I want my opponent to go? Push them in that direction. Okay, folks, that will do for now. I want to keep this quick and short. Keep playing Go. Keep keep going. It takes only 10 minutes to go. If you like the video, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, make a comment, or and if you want to see more of stuff like this, then please subscribe. Okay guys, see you soon. Bye for now. Just as a final quick codex to that video, these are the 5 shapes that I'm talking about. These are the unbreakable shapes in Go. So the tiger mouth, the diagonal connection, the Nobi, the one space connection, it's a bit slow but it's solid, the bamboo joint, and I don't know what this is called in Japanese, but I call it the 2 stone wall with the one space extension. These are solid, unbreakable shapes in Go. Nothing can get through them, and it's the way you need to keep your stones connected. I'll talk about these more in another video, but that's it for now.